It's game day. The Final Four is upon us. It's been a long, grueling season. We had injuries, we had guys missing, we had coaching conflict, schedule conflicts. We had so much going on here in the TNL season, and as we all know, the TNL is the most well-rounded league there is in the tri-state area. We have players from all over the place just trying to get in, players trying to avoid being cut, and it just creates an environment where everybody is, for the most part, all in. Tahiti Blues this year notwithstanding. It's been a great season to date, and the Final Four teams definitely earned their right to be here, and we'll get into last week's matchups. We'll touch upon it. I know we beat it ad nauseum, but just quickly, last week we had the Silverback Gorillas versus Uncle Drew. Uncle Drew, finally, it's playoff time, deal time, postseason time. They rounded into form. We saw that midseason pickup of Sam Michon once again shine, and that deal team gelling, Nathan Beebe doing his thing, Jamie Dweck the assassin, even Mark Braha rejuvenated come postseason, Jake with some timely threes. You know, just the deal team coming together with their ball movement all around, and it was refreshing to see, and they knocked off, I don't want to call it a one-man show, but last week Mo D was trying to do it all by himself and just came up a little short. There were a few, missed opportunities. I think one that we're going to circle back on was that wide open missed layup that we had by the rookie Hassoun that would have made it, I think, a 4-point game late. But either way, Uncle Drew prevailed, and they kind of got by. They had pretty much control towards the end of the game, and they got by, and they punched their ticket to the Final Four, and they will be taking on the Redeem team. We'll get to that matchup in a bit. And then last week, we also had probably the most exciting, exhilarating, wonderful matchup between the Black Mambas and the Golden Bears. Now, we had the Black Mambas, which was the number 5 seed. They were taking on the Golden Bears. Black Mambas, really, they gave it their all. It was a sight to see. They were down. They made some comebacks. We saw a rejuvenation from the likes of Jonah Gorgian, some timely threes, and getting back to form Erwin Azar. But the big three of Sam Biton and Jonah Gorgian, the aforementioned Jonah Gorgian, and Joe Sutton, who was a playoff beast, as we saw, highlighted by that long-distance three all the way down from Ocean Parkway, which gave them some separation. And then we saw Biton tie it up and go to overtime and some timely buckets, and then they just finally prevailed, even though the heroics of Mark Windy was there hitting these ridiculous threes, pulling him within one. It was a 1-point game, and that sets up our Final Four as the Black Mambas, we're going to harp on this matchup now, the Black Mambas are taking on the number 1 seeded Red Raiders. Now, this Red Raiders squad, Dennis is a constant, Jackie Haber proving to be one of the best players in the TNL, week in, week out, just a guy you can't sleep on, always got to, show a little extra defense on. You can't leave him open. He creates space on his own. Davide, had a great start to the season, cooled off, but looks like he was getting back into form towards the end. Then glue guys like Ralph Cohen and Sammy Shama, hitting their spot-up threes, and just that team came together towards the end. They were vying for first place. They ended up getting first place, and they earned themselves a bye, which gives them this, really fun matchup between the Black Mambas and the Red Raiders. Now, usually we have this conversation. Does that 1-week layoff hurt a team or help a team? Is there going to be rust from the Red Raiders and the Redeem team, or is there going to be just a well-rested factor here? So, on this matchup, we highlighted most of the players involved. On the Red Raiders squad, I see Jackie Haber coming out firing. Sometimes he shoots a little too much, where if it's not going down, he doesn't facilitate and get everyone else involved. But when it does go down and he catches fire, that's just someone just truly unguardable at times. I see an upset brewing. I see the Black Mambas tonight riding off their double overtime victory, coming out on top and taking down the Red Raiders. I see the Battle of the Bigs, Biton somewhat neutralizing Dennis, even though Dennis starting to add that three-pointer to his game, kind of an ode to what Shmuel Biton can do from straight away, but that's going to be I think they're going to neutralize themselves and they're going to wash each other out. And I think Jackie Haber is going to struggle a bit at times tonight, and I see Joe Sutton being the X factor and Erwin Azar, and one I didn't mention, one of those guys that has been helping them week in, week out, in Max Seton with that butter mid-range jumper where the other guys are drawing double teams and Max Seton hits that open look and he just knocks down that shot. I see the complimentary guys helping the Black Mambas get past, squeak past, just marginally get past the number 1 seeded Red Raiders and them go into the finals, and it's going to be the number 5 seed there, the long road, the hard way to get there. Now let's go to our first matchup of the night. We were working backwards a bit. We're going to have the Redeem team, who we have captained by Mikey Moyal, his first season at the helm of captaincy, and nobody could take away the job that he's done this season, week in, week out, getting his guys ready, making a must-needed, people weren't sure at the time, trade, jettison some players that weren't fitting his system, and acquiring some guys. We see Elliot DeWeck seamlessly fitting in, becoming one of the cogs on that team, and Sharifian rounding into form towards the end of the season. Mikey Moyal, it's a very important storyline for tonight, is battling 103 fever. Rumor has it he got IV injection last night, late at the Fariwa office, and some other undisclosed drugs were pumped into his system. So that should get him ready for tonight. It's going to be a dogfight with Uncle Drew because, as we saw last week, them clicking on all cylinders, they match up very nicely with the Redeem team, and it's going to be a battle. I don't see it being a pretty game. I see it being a little bit of an ugly slugfest. However, this matchup, I do see slowly but surely swinging. The pendulum will swing in this latter half of the second half, and I see Uncle Drew and their championship medal prevailing and getting themselves into the finals, and we're going to have a upset special tonight. The 6 seed versus the 5 seed in the ship, Uncle Drew versus the Black Mambas. Obviously, these are predictions, sure to go wrong. However, it's just the cameraman on the top perch. From what I see, my standpoint, I like to try to gauge the energy of each squad and where they're at. And I do think playing last week helps these two squads. And I think they will get by tonight, and we're going to have a classic. Uncle Drew versus the Black Mamba is going to be fun. Either way, whatever happens tonight, good luck, gentlemen. I can't wait to be on the call tonight and record tonight. It's going to be fun. It's going to be electric. The atmosphere is going to be intense, playoff style. Hopefully the crowd turns up. Hopefully you have a nice gallery on hands, and hearing the oohs and ahs is always refreshing to hear. And can't wait. See you all tonight. Let's go. Final Four. TNL. Let's get it.